tapes, Haiti is dealing with mining and gold, things like that. Number 13. With that, I'm just going to go ahead and introduce this brother, who is a good friend of mine, and this brother is just powerful. And if you've seen any of his DVDs, you will know, I'm pretty sure the reason why you're here is because you've seen some of his DVDs. Here he is, Prince, brother, Uriel Bay.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for coming out. It's an honor and a pleasure. I'm going to be discussing a myriad of things today, which will deal with, of course, to a large extent, many of you who have seen my tapes, is dealing with law, language, and in particular today, along with that will be inheritance. And that is a topic or a subject that I find, many of us, particularly in the Moorish circles, who at one time or another did deal with, it seems have veered off or just forgotten about the issue, or have been, how can I say, they've gotten sidetracked or whatever. But it's important, it's imperative that for those of us in particular who are dealing with law, nationality / nobility, that we take into consideration that there is no true nationality, no nobility, and the exercise thereof or implementation thereof without fully comprehending or understanding inheritance or inheritances, the law of inheritances, appanages. And when I say appanages, dealing with inheritance, I'm talking about not appendages, which of course is something that is added on to something else, but appanages specifically deal with inheritance. Now, those of you who may have attended lectures with other speakers like True Master, Brother Assisa and others who have touched on aspects of the Holy Roman Empire during the Moorish Empire, or the rule of the Moors. That particular empire, also known as the Sacrum Romanum Imperium, dealt heavily with the science and laws of inheritance. In fact, a little later what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through what is known as an imperial constitution, which is patterned after the ancient constitutions of the Holy Roman Empire, so as to give you a better idea as to how this plays into the whole inheritance thing. And also, I have to say that when we're talking about law and inheritance, it's important for us to understand time travel, because there is no inheritance, or again, the actualization of that inheritance without fully comprehending time travel, believe it or not. And I'll simplify it just by saying that, so that it doesn't sound so abstract, that time travel as it relates to inheritance, of course, is dealing with lineage, bloodline, right? So when you trace yourself and we talk about our ancestors, from whatever school of thought we're coming from, basically this is what we're talking about. So again, so inheritance, birthright, etc., and the exercise thereof. And again, as I said, unfortunately, there's been very little, if any, of that. This will also take us into the realm of the court system, some of the aspects dealing with courts, in particular when they bombard you with decrees of council. And when I say decrees of council, I'm talking about rules and regulations that are often thrust upon us. We find ourselves in these statutory, illusionary, artifice forums, as it were, and consequently, it creates a barrier for many of us to, again, assert our rights concerning inheritance, concerning the whole jurisdictional issue. I know many of you who have been doing research and listening to a lot of these tapes and things over the last few years have come to know different things about the issue of jurisdiction or judicature. And judicature or jurisdiction, in simple terms, I mean, you can look it up in the Black's Law Dictionary or Bovier's or any of these others, and they'll give you a list of things pertaining to what jurisdiction is. You know, that obviously, yes, dealing with authority, so forth and so on, of different boundaries, counties, countries, etc. But very simply, it means iuris, meaning right, also dealing with law, and diction, which of course deals with speech, or a right to speak. Very simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, therefore, to take it a step further, when we talk about right to speak, it's safe to say then that if we're talking about a right to speak, and if, say, for example, an attorney, fiction of law, waxwork, mannequin, active hologram, whatever term or euphemism you want to use, is again thrust upon you by what they call the law of Ikra. Ikra, if you look it up in, say, the Black's Law Dictionary, in particular the 6th edition, or even I think the 4th or 5th, you will find that it deals with compulsion, or forcing one or a group of ones to do something against their own inclinations, or to commit illegal acts, or incrimination, or to incriminate yourself in any way, shape, or form, or that they so see fit. So we want to be very careful of this. So anyway, this dealing with right to speak. So therefore, if, say, an attorney or some other said representative that the state forces upon you is called your representative, or he introduces him or herself as a representative, well, how then can he be that, or they be that, if they don't, for example, speak your language? You follow?